Good morning, students. So today we'll be starting with a topic, inductance. We'll discuss the basic concepts of inductance, concept of self-inductance and mutual inductance in this topic. So what is basically inductance? We'll try to understand what is the concept of inductance. Now before starting the concept of inductance, I would like to discuss something about the applications of inductance. What are the practical applications of inductance? So the best application of inductance we can say is like choke coil inside a tube light. We have tube light inside our house. So inside a tube light we have choke coils. Those choke coils are used to generate very high voltages across the filaments of the fluorescent tube. Okay, the inductance generate very high voltages, and the fluorescent tube, the gas molecules inside the fluorescent tube gets ionized and starts discharging. So we get a glow. Okay, so actually some current is starts flowing between the filaments in that gas medium because very high voltages ionize the gas molecule. This is one of the application of inductance. Second application is spark plug inside a vehicle. What is a spark plug? It is used to ignite the fuel. Spark plug, the function of spark plug is to generate very high voltages across the spark gap, which in turn ionizes the air molecules and generates a spark. So there inductor is used to generate very high voltages across the gap of the spark plug, and if very high voltage is induced across the gap of the spark plug, the air molecule will get ionized and we can see a spark, and that spark will ignite the fuel. Another application of inductance is in filter circuits. It is used along with capacitor in filter circuits for low pass filter, high pass filter, whatever filters you have. Okay. So for filtering purpose or for any other application, inductance is very useful. Inductor are very useful in this type of applications. Okay. So all of you please read this PPT. A circuit carrying current I. There's a mistake here. This is I. This will be I. A circuit carrying current I produces a magnetic field B which causes a flux phi or psi equals to surface integration of B dot ds to pass through each turn of the circuit. Okay. So this is the coil here. You can see the coil here. If the current is passed through the coil, it generates a magnetic field B or magnetic flux density B, which causes a flux psi equals to B dot ds to pass through each turn of the circuit. You know, in a solenoid, when you pass a current, the magnetic field will flow or magnetic field will traverse along the axis of the solenoid. Okay. Now, if the circuit has n identical turns, we define the flux linkage lambda as lambda equals to n into flux or psi. Okay. So lambda is called flux linkage. See, this flux psi is nothing but flux linkage with only one coil. Okay, or only not only one coil, sorry, only one turn. So flux linkage with n number of turns will be given as lambda equals to n into psi, where n is the total number of turns, psi is the flux linkage with only one turn. and lambda is the total flux linkage. Also, if the medium surrounding the circuit is linear, the flux linkage proportional to the current I producing it, that is lambda proportional to I, or lambda equals to L into I. Okay. So the more the current, the more will be the flux linkage. So flux linkage is directly proportional to the current. Also lambda equals to some constant into I, and that constant is nothing but inductance of the circuit. Lambda equals to L into I. L is a proportionality constant called the inductance of the circuit. The inductance L is a property of the physical arrangement of the circuit. Now, we may define inductance of an inductor as the ratio of magnetic flux linkage to the current through the inductor or through the circuit. So L equals to lambda by I, means N into flux by I. Okay. The above equation is commonly referred as self-inductance, since the linkages are produced by the inductor itself. Okay. Because the linkages is produced by the inductor itself, we call it self-inductance. Later in the upcoming slide, you will see that flux linkages due to some other inductor will be called as mutual inductance. Okay. The above equation is commonly referred to as self-inductance, since the linkages are produced by the inductor itself. Like capacitance, we may regard inductance as a measure of how much magnetic energy is stored in the inductor. Okay. Like capacitance, what do we say? How much electrostatic energy it is storing or electric energy it is storing. Similarly, in inductor is a measure of how much magnetic energy is stored in inductor. The magnetic energy is given by half Li square. All these things you have studied in network theory, right? All these concepts were taught to you in network theory. So energy stored equals to what? Half into L into I square. So half into inductance into current square. So you can write L equals to 2 into energy by I square. Now suppose we have two circuits. Instead of having a single circuit, we have two circuits. The first circuit is carrying a current of I1. The second circuit is carrying a current of I2. You can see the figure. A magnetic interaction exists between the circuits. Okay. So there will be four components here, four flux components here. Psi11, Psi12, Psi21, Psi22. Now, what is the meaning of this notation? Suppose I talk about Psi12. What is the meaning of this? See, Psi12 means flux passing through circuit 1 due to current I2 in circuit 2. That means how much flux is passing in circuit 1 due to the current in circuit 2. Now here what is happening? Because there is some current in circuit 2 that will produce some flux in circuit 1. So how much is that quantity we have to measure? So if B2 is the magnetic flux density due to I2, due to current in circuit 2, the magnetic flux density is B2, and S1 is the area of circuit 1. S1 is the area of circuit 1, then psi 12 equals to surface integration of B2 dot ds, and the integration will be carried out throughout the surface of S1. So what is the meaning of psi 1 2? 1 2 means flux through circuit 1 due to current in circuit 2. Okay. Why S1 here? Because we have to calculate the flux in 1 due to 2. So due to 2 means due to what? Due to current in circuit 2. So it will be given as B2 dot ds, and we have to integrate over the area of the first circuit. What is the area of the first circuit? S1. Okay. So what is happening here? Because of a circuit placed adjacent to one circuit, so mutually some flux is getting produced due to the current in other circuit. So this concept we call as mutual inductance. Now we define the mutual inductance M12 as the ratio of flux linkage. Okay, psi 12 or sorry, lambda 12 equals to N1 into psi 12. Psi 12 is the flux, lambda 12 is the total flux linkage, equals to what? N1 into psi 12. Why N1? Total flux in circuit 1 equals to what? Total number of turns into flux. Okay. On circuit 1 to current I2, that is M12 equals to lambda 12 by I2. So this is mutual inductance. M12 equals to lambda 12 by I2. I told you what is the formula for inductance? Flux linkage by current. Ratio of the flux linkage by current. So in self-inductance we saw it was nothing but lambda 1 by I1 or lambda 2 by I2, but here it is mutual. So M12 equals to lambda 12 by I2 or N1 psi 12 by I2. Okay. Similarly, you tell me for M21, what is M21? M21 means flux in circuit 2 due to current in circuit 1. Okay. Due to current in circuit 1, there will be some magnetic flux density B1 which will be produced in circuit 2. So mutual inductance is given as lambda 21 by I1. Why I1? Because this time the responsible quantity is current in circuit 1. In the previous case, the responsible quantity was current in circuit 2. Here, current in circuit 1 is the responsible quantity for the mutual flux and the mutual inductance. Okay. Now, it can be shown by the energy concepts that if the medium surrounding the circuit is linear, that means in the absence of ferromagnetic material. I had already explained the concept of ferromagnetic material in the chapter magnetic materials. Dimagnetic, paramagnetic, ferromagnetic, I have already taught you ferromagnetic material. That mutual inductance is same. M12 equals to M21. Example of ferromagnetic material, like in transformer, we have transformer core. We have what? Transformer core. In that case, this may not be same. Okay. Transformer core is a very good example of a ferromagnetic material. Now we define the self-inductance of circuits 1 and 2 respectively as L1 equals to lambda 11 by I1, N1 psi 1 by I1, L2 equals to lambda 22 by I2, N2 psi 2 by I2. What is lambda 11? What is lambda 22? Lambda 1 is the flux linkage due to its own circuitry. Okay. Lambda 22 is the flux linkage due to its own circuitry. This is for first circuit, this is for second circuit. Okay. So flux linkage, flux in circuit 1 equals to flux linkage due to its own circuitry plus the mutual flux linkage or mutual flux. Lambda 2 flux in circuitry equals to flux due to its own circuitry plus mutual flux. The total energy in the magnetic field is the sum of energies due to L1, L2 and M12. That is, total energy stored equals to W1 plus W2 plus W12. Half L1 I1 square plus half L2 I2 square. This is due to what? This is energy stored in the inductor due to its own inductance. This is energy stored in the inductor due to its own inductance. This for circuit 1, this is for circuit 2, plus the energy stored due to mutual inductance M12, I1, I2, plus minus. Why plus minus? What is the meaning of plus minus? If the mutual flux is aiding or opposing, depending on that, you have to use this sign convention, plus or minus. Plus means both the fluxes are aiding each other. Okay. Minus means both the fluxes are opposing each other. Aiding polarity, opposing polarity. These things you'll learn in detail in network theory. It is written here, the positive sign is taken if the currents I1 and I2 flow such that magnetic field of two circuits strengthen each other. If the current flows such that magnetic field opposite each other, the negative sign is taken. An inductor is a conductor arranged in a shape appropriate to store magnetic energy. Like we had already discussed in our previous lectures, toroid, solenoid, coaxial transmission lines, parallel wire transmission lines. I'll tell you a very important application of this mutual inductance and self-inductance. Suppose you have two transmission lines like this. You can see transmission lines. You have to find out the inductance of the transmission lines. Okay. Now, suppose this is one line, this is another line. Both the lines are carrying currents, correct? If you find the inductance of this line, you have to take into consideration the inductance due to its own circuitry, means own line, plus the inductance due to its adjacent line. So there the mutual inductance concept will come. You will study in power system, transmission and distribution. All these concepts you will study in power system, transmission, distribution. You have to find out the inductance of the line. That time you will be using these concepts: mutual inductance, self-inductance. Okay. The inductance of these inductors can be determined by following a procedure similar to that taken in determining the capacitance of a capacitor. Okay, we'll see all these things. So these are some of the collection of formulas for inductance of common elements for wire, hollow cylinder, parallel wires, coaxial conductor, right? Circular loop, solenoid. For solenoid, the formula is L equals to mu naught n square S by L. Okay, mu naught is the permeability, and if you have a material, then you'll have relative permeability also. Here only mu naught is given, absolute permeability, because we have considered it is air. Okay, inside you have air, but if you have some material inside, then it will be mu naught into mu r, means absolute permeability into relative permeability. N square is what? N is what? Number of turns. Okay, and S is what? Area. So this is the formula for solenoid. Similarly, some other formula also there. This parallel wires, hollow cylinder wire, this all formulas will be using in power system, transmission, distribution. When you go to sixth semester, you'll study the subject transmission distribution. There you'll be requiring all these formulas. You'll be deriving all these formulas. Okay. Now we'll solve a simple numerical here. So all of you please read this numerical. A very long solenoid with 2 into 2 centimeter cross section has an iron core, mu r equals to 1000 and 4000 tons per meter. If it carries a current of 500 milliamperes, find its self-inductance per meter and the energy per meter stored in this field. Okay, so they have asked you inductance per meter, self-inductance per meter. So what is the formula for self-inductance? Mu naught mu over N square A by L, correct? So if you're writing by L, that means it is already per meter. So the formula will be mu naught mu R N square into A. A is what? Area. Or you can use the term S also. S also for area you can use to find out that. So mu naught, you know the formula, the value of mu naught, 4 pi into 10 to the power minus 7. Mu r is 1000 is given. So mu naught into mu r you will know. Now the question is n square. What is n square? Number of turns is n, right? So it's given 400 turns per meter. Okay. So if you just square this term, 4000, it's not 400, sorry, 4000. 4000, you square it, already per meter is there. So you don't need to take care of this per meter thing here. Already it's per meter. So just your number of turns is 4000. So 4000 whole square, n square. Area will be how much? Length into breadth. 2 into 2 centimeters is given. So 2 into 10 to the power minus 2 meter, correct? That means 4 into 10 to the power minus 4 is the area. 4 into 10 to the power 4 minus 4 meter square. See this formula here. Inductance equals to mu naught mu r n square into S. It is actually by L, but since we have to find out inductance per meter, so that is taken care of. We need not worry about the length and all these things. Okay. So cross section is how much? 4. Correct. 4 into centimeter, right? So 10 to the power minus 4. Correct. 2 into 2 to 4. Length into breadth 4 into 10 to the minus 4. And 4000 turns per meter. That means what? This will be squared, right? 4000 will be squared. So 16 into 10 to the power 6 n square, and this is your area. So you'll get ultimately the answer as 8.042 Henry per meter. Actually, when you study the subject transmission and distribution, you will see all the inductances are found in Henry per meter, because transmission line is very large, very long. The transmission line is very long. You cannot calculate the transmission line of the whole, inductance of the whole transmission line. You can calculate the inductance in Henry per meter. Then suppose you need the inductance for 100 kilometers of transmission line, just multiply the inductance into 100 kilometers. Okay. In this way, you have to find out the inductance. So inductance is equal to 8.042 Henry per meter. And what is the energy stored? Half into L into I square. So half into L we have found out into I square, 0.5 whole square. So you'll get 1.005 joule. So we'll stop here today. All of you just solve and check whether the answer is correct or not. You can solve and check, but we'll end the session today. Next class we'll be discussing with Maxwell equations for time varying fields. Okay.